How long does it take to write a book? Well, there's four questions that you need to ask yourself. The first is, how long is the book going to be? Depending how long the book is, it'll affect how long it takes you to write it. So let me give you some ideas. This book here is called Warning: Opportunities Ahead by Terry Wilson. Terry is a very good friend of mine and a client of my business at turnitintoabook.com. And Terry had a 1-hour webinar that he wanted to turn into a book. So for Terry, it took no time at all because, well, Terry handed us a recording and we turned it into a book. Something this size, 1-hour recording, we can turn around very quickly. So if you're having someone else do it for you, sometimes it can be done really fast. If you have a book that is the average length, like this book here, which is my book titled Beyond Boo Boo Kisses. This is about our journey with our son when he was diagnosed with brain cancer. And this book is 6 by 9 inches in dimension. It's about 180 pages long, which is a pretty average size for a nonfiction book. And so something this long depends on question number 2. How emotional is the content for you? So when I wrote this book, it literally took me, when I wrote Beyond Boo Boo Kisses, it literally took me years. It took me years because it was really hard to go back there. If you're going to tell a story about something you've gone through, then you have to be willing to share those emotions with your audience so that they can feel it and they can connect with the story. And to go back there and feel that emotions, well, it wasn't exactly a fun thing to do. And so it literally took me years to write this book. When I finally had enough years behind me and settled down and just said, okay, that's it. And I wrote consistently and regularly. It still took me 9 months to write that book. So how emotional your topic is and your content is going to affect how long it takes you to write the book. The third thing you need to know is if it's not as emotional, you still need to know how well do you know the subject matter. So again, if it's something that you do with your eyes closed and you can do in your sleep, you know it so well, it's like the back of your hand, you can probably write it really quickly. If it's something that where you need to require some research or you need to interview other people or things of that nature, then the time is going to be affected by how long it takes you to do the research. The time will be affected by how long it takes you to collect permission from however many people you want to interview, and then how long it takes to do those interviews and process those interviews. So it really depends on how well you know your subject matter. And then, of course, the fourth thing it will depend on is how good are your writing skills. Now, you don't have to be good at writing at all. You don't have to, like all my clients, hate writing. Well, not all of them. A lot of them are just busy and they don't have time and it's not their most favorite thing, so they don't want to write it themselves. But if your writing skills aren't that great, or you're someone who hates writing, or you're someone who hates typing on a keyboard, then you're probably better off to hire someone else and it'll go a lot quicker. And if you're someone who wants to write it yourself, your writing skills may hinder you. They don't need to, because no matter how good your writing skills are, you're going to need an editor. I would certainly recommend that you use an editor after you're done writing. But your writing skill, depending how good you are and how you feel about your writing skill, may affect how fast you're able to write a book. So to recap, you need to ask yourself, how long is this book going to be? You need to do an assessment of your emotional connection to the subject matter and how long might that affect you in writing. You need to know how well you know your subject matter and whether or not there are things in there where you have to get outside information and how long all that might take you. And then, take an inventory of your writing skills and decide, is this something I really want to do myself, or do I just want to hand it over to someone who is a professional writer and they can get it done a lot quicker?